Alright, so I just saw Dune, and it was an eyegasm. The director, Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name, has done a fantastic job of adapting the book into a movie. He does a great job of explaining and exploring the lore of Dune, and really giving the audience the true soft political power that the Bene Gesserit has. Through whispers and things like that, they help set the path forward for Paul and Jessica with the Fremen and all this kind of stuff. It's in the book, but he does a great job of explaining it in the movie. It's wonderful. It's a spectacle. The special effects are amazing, are just fantastic. Another thing I liked was the relationship between Paul and Gurney Man. It's fantastic. The relationship between Paul and his father is good. And there's one scene in particular that I like is when Paul is sent out of the Thopter to help rescue people from the excavator, and he kind of hallucinates and he has a vision and he doesn't move, and his father, once they get back to the city, his father reprimands him as any good father should. And it was really good because Timothy Chalamet, his acting was fantastic in this scene, and so was Oscar Isaac, and it was great to see that power dynamic, and I really liked that a lot. Another thing I liked was Dave Bautista, the animal, as was that Fade Rautha, and I liked that a lot. I thought he did a fantastic job thus far. It was just really good. Timothy Chalamet as Paul and Jason Momoa, their relationship was fantastic. I think that those two have the closest relationship, except maybe for Paul and his mother Jessica, and I think that was fantastic. I think that was well done. Really exploring the side characters was fantastic. I think that Mapes should have played a much larger role in the film. It's kind of weird because she tells the lady Jessica her name and then grants her a crysknife as a gift. But other than that, that's kind of all that she does, which is weird. Because in the book, while she didn't play a major role, her role was relatively important because it helped set up Paul's relationship with the Fremen and give him an insight into the Fremen a little bit. Apart from that, I think they did a great job of having these projections of Arrakis and the Fremen in general, and with Paul and that did a good job because it kind of comes into play later when Paul and Jessica are in the desert, and he's like, I saw this thing. I was studying the Fremen. This is kind of how they work. This is how they walk through the sand, things like that, and that was fantastic. It was great. It was a fantastic spectacle. Oh my god, it was a feast for the eyes. And I mean, I guess that's to be expected. I mean, this is the same director that did Blade Runner 2049, which I thought was fantastic too. It's extremely underrated, and the scale and the spectacle of that movie was amazing. So this movie just blows that one out the water. It's fantastic. A few people are kind of crapping all over it. They're taking a big steamy dump on it for a few reasons. One, which is one I agree with, is this is Dune Part 1. Part 1. It didn't say that in any of the advertisements, in any of the commercials or the trailers. This is Part 1 of Dune. This is the first half of the book, Dune. Which is fair. I mean, it's a hard book to adapt into a movie, to a 3-hour movie. It's a large book. It's hard to adapt it. So I get why they want to split it up. I hope they just... It's weird because the second part hasn't even been greenlit yet. So it's weird that the studio would be like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Here's all the money you need for part 1. And then they're kind of just waiting to see how well it does at the box office to greenlight part 2. I want to see part 2. I really do. So far it's been fantastic. Another thing is Timothy Chalamet as Paul. A lot of people say, oh, he doesn't really come off as Paul. He doesn't really come off as this caring person who really cares about the Fremen. Well, yeah, no shit. This is part 1. In part 1, he doesn't care too much. He studies them and he has respect for their culture and who they are, mostly out of necessity from his father, who tells him that we're here to help the people, we're here to get sand power, dune power, the power of the people, and not just power from spice. It's not really until part 2 of the book of Muad'Dib, where Paul really starts to grow his respect and his relationship and his love for the Fremen people. And this, I mean, if you haven't read the book, you should probably do that, but spoiler, this kind of stems from his relationship with Chani, who's Fremen, and that's really important for the book, and his relationship with the Fremen, and his mythology, or his legend with the Fremen. This is very important. And so a lot of people are like, he doesn't really come off as somebody who cares about the Fremen, and that's a fair criticism, but I also disagree, because he shouldn't care too much about the Fremen at this point in the movie. This is the first half of the movie. That comes later on in the book, and it will come later in part 2 if they greenlight it. Hopefully they do. But that's part of his character arc. He doesn't care about them now, he cares about them later. There's that. And those are really the two things people are shitting on it about, is Timothy Chalamet's Paul in the part 1, with no hint at all, or no news on part 2. One thing that I didn't like from the movie is near the end of the film, there's a night scene when Paul and Jessica are in the desert. And then Paul has to fight a Fremen, because the Fremen tries to challenge his mother, and Paul steps forward to defend his mother in a, to the death duel. This was really, it was supposed to be set at night, and so it wasn't really night, it was like really gray, more gray. It's like somebody put a blue light filter on my phone and turned it up all the way. Everything was like, all the colors were muted, and it looked like very sepia. It was really weird, it was very strange, and it actually brought me out of the movie, because for a second I thought maybe the projector went to sleep or something, because it was just really weird. That was really weird, and that scene lasted, I think, too long, in my opinion. It would have been fine if perhaps it was nighttime and then they had glow globes to kind of light the surrounding, or something like that. It was really difficult, because it didn't really seem like it was nighttime, like it wasn't even filmed at night, or on a green screen or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, this scene's gonna be set in nighttime, so they put a filter on it. That was kind of weird to me. That's like the only thing that really bothered me. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was fun. It was a spectacle. It was amazing. It was mind-blowing. And just bringing the audience into this world, this lore-rich universe, has never been done better, and it probably won't ever be done better. It is amazing. It is like seeing Lord of the Rings for the first time. It was amazing. I really, really think it was good. I'm going to go see it again. I think it was that good. And I really want to help that movie get a part 2. I really want to help it. With that said, I think Dune, for me, gets 9 sandworms out of 10. Thanks.